Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Moss Gets Athletic video, and welcome to the WrestleMania 37 Night 2 review video. I already did Night 1. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out. And that being said, so let's go ahead and get into talking on Night 2. Night 2, I would have to say, connection wise, yes, it was a lot better. I was able to watch that on my TV. I didn't mention that in Night 1. I had to go from watching it on my TV to watching it on my laptop because I don't know if it was my TV, I don't know if it was my or WWE, but I know they did say it was like some bad weather conditions, but I couldn't even hear the first match, which was Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. So I'm like, oh no, I can't be having this while watching this, these issues and stuff. So I was like, I was able to, with Night 2, to be able to watch the whole thing on my TV, no problem. Because that's what I was doing. I was like working on videos and stuff. So I'm like, I wanted to do that. And that's what I was watching on TV, but I couldn't. So it was like, it was torture. It was torture. But anyways, let's talk on Night 2. Here's a match I'm going to rant about, so just stay tuned for that match. It's actually the second match of the whole night. But let's talk on the first match. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, or The Fiend. I was kind of confused on that match. By the way, I didn't even really watch it that much. My eyes, they dozed off, and I'd seen like when they showed like replays of it later on, but I was like, well, I didn't really miss out on anything. Like that match wasn't. It didn't really seem like what they showed, like the part where Randy Orton slammed Bray on the table, but he just got back up and things, like it was nothing. So I'm like, my thing is that they should have maybe dragged on the match a little bit longer. I'm hoping like tonight with Monday Night Raw, they better do something with the Fiend, like have it where they wrestling or it's a rematch or something. Because I'm like, that match just didn't even really seem that interesting, and I'm actually, not all that like mad that I missed out on that match. I was just like, oh well. There was like they showed where he disappeared with Alexa Bliss, or what's her name like now, Mother Teresa, or whatever they calling her, or whatever Bray Wyatt be worshiping and stuff. But I'm like they showed where they just kind of was like staring at each other and they disappeared. I'm like, kind of artistic wrestling match was this? I'm like, I didn't come here for art. I came here for a fight. Like, y'all hype. My thing is like, you guys hype that whole match up just for that. I'm like, nah, fam. You better have it where they go crazy tonight on Monday Night Raw. If not, then I'm like, that wasn't an ending that I was expecting. Maybe hopefully this is like the start to it all, and then it's gonna be crazy at the end of it all. Let's hope for that. But now let's talk on this next match. I was not happy with the results because I'm like, one of the wrestlers has been in the game ever since I was like, they said she debuted in 2009. 2009, I was like maybe 12 or 13 at the time. You mean to tell me it takes over 10 years just for her to have a WrestleMania moment, but she loses? So I'm talking on Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus Natalia and Tamina. But I'm talking on Tamina. I'm like, hey, yo, Tamina, she's one of the wrestlers where I'm like, hey, yo, this girl, she can do some damage if she wants to. But I'm like, she's been wrestling, or my thing was is that there had been times where I had to look her name up because I hadn't seen her in a while. I know she was dealing with some stuff some years back, but I had to look her name up to see like, is she still with the company, or did she do like a silent retire? But then she'll appear on TV being somebody's bodyguard. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Don't y'all dare have her being a bodyguard no more. This, out of nowhere, you guys decide, hey, let's have her change outfits and be a part of a tag team. No, this, I'm like, hey, yo, she don't win and the only championship she won was the 24/7 championship. And that was at a pay-per-view I didn't even watch, so I wasn't even aware that she won the championship. I had to actually look her name up and see what championship she's won. But it was like, that was it though. Like, that's the only championship she's ever won. Like, she has not won. Like, it wasn't like she was she started coming involved in wrestling. So it was like in 2009, but other than that, like, she's only, so Pro Wrestling Illustrated, like, ranked number 19, and then there was a Sports Illustrated, Wrestling Observer, and it's just like all these just, oh dang, worst feud of all time, and then worst worked match of all time, dang. So that's what that Wrestling Observer thing is. Man, forget that. But yeah, it was like only championship she's won was the 24/7 championship. So my thing is like that's if she was to retire at any given point in time. Hopefully she doesn't. I'm hoping that they do give her a WrestleMania match or a moment before she does. But I'm like, the fact that y'all waited this long and then for her to still like not get anywhere, like she loses this match, and I'm thinking, okay, she won that tag team turmoil match that last night, so she's hands down gonna win this match tonight, and they have it where she loses. I was like, bro, you know what? Whoever was behind that, writing that and stuff, y'all should be fired. Cause I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. How it's like this girl's been in the company for this long, and it takes her this long to have a WrestleMania moment, and she doesn't even get to have like the. Then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe there's a hidden reason behind it, which I'm like, okay, if there is, then there is. But if not, then I'm like, y'all need to do something with that. But anyways, or just do something with the situation. Don't just be like, oh, all right, well then that's it. It's done and over with. No, it ain't done and over with. Y'all gonna have this girl win a championship before she retires. So, but anyways, and then the next match, and I did like the ending to that match. Kevin Owens going up against Sami Zayn, with Logan Paul doing well, he wasn't really even doing commentary. He was just sitting there just making like facial reactions and stuff. So he pretty much does what I do on my main channel, TMossBoss. So he was just out there doing reactions. But after Kevin Owens won, I did like the fact that both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, like they both got to fight at WrestleMania, because their rivalry was like one of my favorite rivalries once when I found out about it. And then seeing overall, like I remember I seen like a little bit of the matches and when they were in NXT, but seeing it once when it came to the main roster and seeing how much they were going up against each other and seeing how much they like had like a love hate relationship towards each other. It was honestly the funniest thing, but it was the coolest thing on top of that, because I was like, both of those guys are talented wrestlers, so they did kill that match. I was impressed by their match, but Kevin Owens tricking, because that was the thing. I'm like, when you've been a wrestling fan for so long and then you hear the fans and hearing how they cheer, even though they was cheering, you knew what was going to happen. You knew what was going to happen. I knew once when them fans start cheering. That's why I love the fans. That's why I miss the fans so much. But once when they started cheering, I was like, Logan Paul is getting ready to get hit with something. I don't know exactly what, but he's going to get hit with something. So Logan Paul, for those that didn't watch it, Logan Paul, this dude was walking in for a handshake, got kicked and a stunner, and overall, like, yeah, he just, but that stunner, he sold that stunner. Like, that, the way he got hit with it, flipped, rolled, and was like, you would have thought that stunner was real, the way he sold that. So I thought that was funny. I was like, hey, I'll be defending YouTubers, but in this case, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm glad he got hit with a stunner. So, anyways, but no, that was pretty good though. Shout out to Logan Paul for making his guest appearance and things. I thought that was really cool though. I'm like, I don't know how they worked that out, but I'm like, hey, I'm like, y'all, we got. I'm saying like YouTubers got to be more involved with like sports and stuff. Like I see where it's like some like YouTubers overseas, they'll get into like soccer, but over there they call it football. But I see where they do that. But I'm like, hey, yo, I'm just saying, if there was a wrestling company that contacted me and they want me to be a part of their show, I'll do it. Because I'm like, hey, yo, that would be dope. I'm like, fam, I hands down would do that. So, but anyways, next match, Sheamus versus Riddle. I wasn't like mad about that match, but it wasn't like a match that I was looking forward to. Like that match could have happened at any given point in time. Most likely, they'll probably do like a rematch of it. Probably have it where Sheamus, wins again. But maybe if he does lose, he does lose. Oh well. But yeah, I thought the match was I thought it was okay. I can't say that I hate it, but I can't say it was my favorite match of all time. So it was just one of those matches. I do like Riddle though. Matt Riddle. I'm calling him Matt Riddle. I don't know why all of a sudden they just decide like, oh, we just gonna call him Riddle. Like, why? Like, what's up with the name change? But anyways, and then Apollo Crews versus Big E. that's one of those matches where it kind of brought me back to being a kid. Because when I seen, well, yeah, when this, whoever that dude was that came in and interfered in the match, I'm like, who are you? First off, and you couldn't have waited until afterwards. Like, man, I'm tired when they do stuff like that. Wait till after the match to interfere so we can see like who will be a truthful champion. But it's like when people be interfering in things, I'm like, that's it's like even talking on the last match of the night. I'm like, fam, y'all could have waited, okay? Y'all could have waited, but. Anyways, but yeah, Apollo Crews, he won. I was like, dang. I was like, yeah, that did bring me back to that like child in me that was watching wrestling back in the day and seeing one of my favorite wrestlers lose. I'm like, man, I don't like that guy no more. But no, Apollo Crews, he did his thing though. That was a pretty good match. I did enjoy that. So yeah, the Nigerian drum fight. I was like, fam, I was confused by it, but I was just like, oh, it's kind of like a no disqualification type thing. So I'm like, all right, makes sense, makes sense. But then I thought that was cool though. Rhea Ripley going up against Asuka and winning on top of that. I was just like, hey, shout out to Rhea Ripley. That was pretty dope that she won at WrestleMania. Cause last year, yeah, she wrestled last year against Charlotte Flair, and I think that was she lost. I think she lost that fight. Hold on for a second. So Becky Lynch. Oh, Shayna Baszler. She went up against Becky Lynch last year. I forgot about that. Dang, it doesn't even seem like Becky Lynch has been gone for that long. But I guess she has. I guess she has. But yeah, I remember when Charlotte Flair and Shayna Baszler. I don't know why I'd be messing up on her name, but yeah, when Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair when they went up against each other, I thought that was cool. That was pretty cool. But anyways, all right, now let's go back. But yeah, I thought that was pretty. Rhea Ripley. That was like one of the things I tweeted out about her was that was the first time I had ever seen of like a wrestler that's a woman not cry after they won a championship. It seems like every woman that I've seen wrestle at WrestleMania or wherever, they win that championship for the first time. Tears just start rolling. Like she won that championship and she took it like a champ. She didn't cry. She didn't do any of that. But how many? That was the thing that I wanted to see. How many? Look, they got her even holding the championship and her like profile picture on Wikipedia. How many times has she's won the championship? She's won women's champion tournament in 2018. Then she was the UK women's champion. Then she was the women's champion. So it was like one time for those three. And then now she's the Raw women's champion. So she's only won like altogether 3 championships. But then there was like this women's tournament, NXT. Oh, so then, okay. I see. And then it was like all together. So yeah, she's only won like 3 championships. You would have thought like she had made it to the main roster. Now she's a champion. I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't have been mad if she had cried. I'd just be like, okay, well, like that's what they all do. Everybody cries when they win for the first time. So but she didn't. She was like that girl. She was yelling and screaming and stuff. Looked Asuka in her face and said, "Yeah, I beat you and what?" And so that's cool though. That's cool. I did like that. I did like the fact that she won. And now the main events of the whole night. A fight where I was all like, hey, yo, look, because I started feeling a little bit tired. Like, you sitting there just watching nonstop wrestling for 2 days in a row. Like, yeah, you tend to get a little tired. So, Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. And Jey Uso. I'm like, bro, that's what I said, and that's a tweet that I seen. I seen the tweet at first, and I was talking about it in my live stream. They need to have it where Jimmy comes back, and Jimmy and Jey, they have like a rivalry or something, or I don't know. Let's see with this this Raw after Mania how it goes and stuff. But well, actually, because no, this is like more so for SmackDown. But anyways, but no, let's overall see what goes down between them and things. But no, so yeah, Roman Reigns and Edge and Daniel Bryan go up against each other. I thought it was good, and I honestly thought Edge was about to win. I'm like, hey, yo, like he's gonna win this. He's gonna actually he's gonna win this champion. He's gonna do it. Like this man gonna be a champion. Like this shows that he's officially came back. But after the way it ended, I'm like, it's gonna probably be a while. I mean, if they do, if they do come back on Friday on SmackDown, then I'm like, oh, okay, so they ain't gonna have it where they gone for a long period of time and then come back at some random time and things. But Anyways, but yeah, I was all like, I thought he was gonna win. Then when Jey Uso when he jumped in, I'm like, fam, really? I'm like, really? You couldn't have waited until afterwards? Like, that's what I was saying, like, with that Apollo Crews and Big E fight. I'm like, y'all can't wait till afterwards to interfere in the match so we can see who's going to be the true full champion and things. Like, no, you had to just interrupt. I'm like, I wish they stopped doing that because I'm like, man, I'm getting tired of that. Y'all need to have it where it's like them guys wait till afterwards so we can see who's going to win. Because I'm like, man, when that be happening and things, I'm like, I remember when how upset I was when I seen Seth Rollins interfere in the Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns fight that was WrestleManias ago. I'm like, fam, wait until after so I can see who wins because it's like, okay, they're gonna win. No, they're gonna win. I don't know who's gonna win. So then when it gets to it, then it's like, well, nobody wins because I'm like, at the somebody interfered and it's like you don't even know who really is gonna win or not. So yeah, I was like, bruh, y'all need to stop doing that. Please just stop, cause I'm like that stuff be annoying and things. So, anyways, but I thought it was overall good, the whole match itself. So yeah, I thought it was cool. Just curious what's gonna happen on SmackDown between the three parties. But other than that, WrestleMania 37 is pretty lit. I like the fact that the fans came back. So that's all. That's all. At the end of the day, that really mattered to me. The fans came back, and we got wrestling again. So, anyways, and that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace.